Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because, well, we're going to completely change how you look at the very top of your house. We usually just think of a roof as, what, a bunch of overlapping shingles, right? But it's actually so much more than that. It is literally a complex, highly engineered protective system that's actively defending your home against nature's absolute worst. So today, we're going to break down exactly how that system works and, more importantly, how you can protect it. To make sure we cover everything, here's our roadmap. We'll hit the extreme weather threat, common roof failures, the anatomy of a roof, the professional repair process, and then finally, navigating costs and contractors. So we're moving right from understanding the actual threats to making some really smart financial decisions for your home. Section 1. The extreme weather threat, nature's assault on your home. Okay, let's dive into this. If you live in North Texas, right, maybe around areas like DeSoto, your primary antagonist isn't just time, it's the brutal, everyday reality of the weather attacking your home. So, I want you to take a second and really think about this. We feel that 100-plus degree heat on the ground, sure, but up there, it's a completely different hidden extreme. How hot do you think a roof actually gets in the dead of a Texas summer? Any guesses? 150 degrees. No joke. At 150 degrees, those asphalt shingles are literally baking. They lose all their flexibility, that adhesive backing breaks down, and they just become incredibly brittle. It's kind of like cooking your home's main defense system in an oven every single afternoon. And the crazy thing is, heat is just one part of this year-round assault. Look at the schedule of destruction. In the spring, severe thunderstorms drop baseball-sized hail that physically cracks the shingle surfaces. Then summer hits with that 150-degree baking heat. Fall rolls in with straight-line winds hitting 90 miles per hour, basically tearing off anything the summer sun weekend. And then winter throws in ice storms and freeze-thaw cycles that exploit every single microscopic crack. I mean, it's relentless. Section 2. Common roof failures. Recognizing the warning signs. And this brilliantly illustrates how all that extreme weather translates into actual physical damage on your house. Especially if you're in a neighborhood built back in the 1990s where those original roofs are really hitting the end of the line. Severe hail directly causes cracked surfaces and granule loss. Extreme heat, that gives you brittle, curling, and blistered shingles. High winds will lift up your flashing and just completely rip away shingles. But here's a compound problem you might not even think about: shifting clay soil. In North Texas, that expansive black clay soil actually expands and contracts with moisture. That shifts your actual foundation and stresses the entire underlying structure of your roof. Now, one of the most vulnerable areas in all of this is your flashing. That's the metal used around roof penetrations, so things like chimneys, vents, skylights to channel water away. But here is the really critical failure point. Rapid temperature changes cause this metal to expand and contract. Over time, that movement literally cracks the sealants. Suddenly, water sneaks into those gaps and runs down your interior walls, which often creates a massive ceiling stain far, far away from where the actual leak is happening. It's like a giant puzzle trying to track it down. Section 3. Anatomy of a roof. More than just shingles. All right, so it's time to shift our perspective a bit. We've got to stop looking at a roof as just this flat, 2D surface of overlapping shingles and start seeing it as a 3D engineered system where every single piece has to work together perfectly. And a huge part of that system is something you can't even see from the street: ventilation, specifically something called net-free area. Building codes actually require 1 square foot of ventilation for every 150 square feet of attic space. If a builder or roofer cuts corners here, it is absolutely disastrous. Poor ventilation traps moisture that basically rots your wooden decking, and worse, it traps intense heat. Because inadequate attic ventilation traps that heat and moisture, attic temperatures can actually exceed 160 degrees in the summer. So to put that into perspective, this extreme trapped heat radiates straight down through your insulation, completely driving up your cooling costs, while simultaneously cooking your roof from the inside out. Your shingles are getting baked by the 150-degree sun on top and roasted by 160-degree trapped heat from below. No way they survive that without help. So to actually survive those extremes, you need these integrated layers of protection. Starting from the top, you've got ceramic granules for UV and fire resistance. Right below that, the asphalt and fiberglass mat forms the core structure. Then, the underlayment. Now listen to this. Traditional felt paper actually deteriorates in Texas heat, so upgrading to a synthetic underlayment is absolutely crucial for secondary water and heat protection. Throw in an ice and water shield for those vulnerable valleys, and finally, the wooden decking foundation. It's a full stack. If one layer fails, the whole shebang is compromised. Section 4, the professional repair process, from panic to protection. Let's move to and see how this builds. Because if your system does fail, don't panic. Fixing these complex systems really doesn't have to be some chaotic nightmare. A legitimate pro uses a straightforward 3-step process that completely eliminates surprises and anxiety. First up is the inspection and assessment, where they absolutely must get photos and give you a detailed written estimate. Step 2 is repair execution. That means tear off, fixing that underlying decking we talked about, and seamless integration. And step 3 is final inspection and cleanup. And guys, this absolutely must include a magnetic nail sweep, so you don't end up with flat tires in your driveway, along with all the proper warranty documentation. Setting realistic expectations here is super important. Like, how long is your house actually going to be a construction zone? Well, emergency tarping to stop active leaks, that should happen within hours of your call. A standard inspection can usually be scheduled within 24 hours. A simple leak or just a shingle replacement, that usually takes about 1 single day. And a complete, full roof replacement, typically you're looking at 3 to 5 days depending on the weather and how complex your design is. Section 5, navigating costs and contractors, protecting your wallet. This final section is all about protecting your investment, making sure you do not get taken advantage of. So I want to pose a really direct question to you, one that honestly every homeowner dreads. How do you tell if a roofer is lying to you? Think about it. After a massive spring storm rolls through, contractors are going to be knocking on your door. How do you separate the actual professionals from the opportunists? There is a vigorous contrast between the opportunists and the pros. A shady roofer, they're going to demand a large upfront deposit. They'll use high-pressure scare tactics, they won't give you a written estimate, and a lot of times they don't even have a physical local address. On the exact opposite side, a legitimate pro explains their findings clearly using photos of your specific roof. They provide itemized bids, they pull all the required city permits, and they will never, ever ask for full payment upfront before the work even begins. And here is some absolutely crucial advice on what not to say to a contractor. Never tell a contractor you haven't researched pricing, obtained other bids, or checked their background. And definitely skip phrases like, do whatever you think is best, unless you have a detailed written scope. Establishing those professional boundaries protects your massive investment. And hey, your gut feeling matters. If something feels off, it probably is. So the really crucial point here is making smart financial choices. How can you save money effectively? Well, compare multiple detailed, itemized bids. Schedule work during off-peak seasons if it's not a total emergency. Choose mid-grade architectural shingles that give you solid performance without that super premium designer price tag. Always file insurance claims for verified storm damage. And prioritize targeted repairs over full replacements whenever you can. But remember, investing in high-quality underlayment and proper metal flashing right now prevents vastly more expensive interior leaks later down the road. Really, don't cut corners on the foundation of your roof. Which leaves us with this final, truly provocative question to ask yourself. Are you just putting a cheap Band-Aid on a structural failure, or are you truly engineering your home to survive the next superstorm? I really hope this explainer has empowered you to take control of your home's protection, and maybe even made you a little curious to go outside and see what's actually going on up there. Thank you so much for joining me, and please, stay safe out there.